Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be continuing with our series explaining chapters from business management. Today we're starting with unit 4, which is marketing. So we are getting close to the end, guys. We just have this unit and unit 5. Today the chapter is 4.1, the role of marketing. This is a pretty quick and simple one. So we'll try to get through it quickly, but they're all kind of fundamental parts just to understand the rest of the chapter. They're really just kind of setting bases, and the rest of the chapter gets a bit deeper into what these elements are. So to start, marketing. What is marketing? We have to kind of understand what that is before we can get into the rest of things. So marketing, the goal, or basically what it is to entice a target audience or target customer demographic to purchase a product or service. You're trying to get your customers' interest through a variety of methods. And usually it's a research-based process. Sorry, I cannot talk today. It is a research-based process using either the 4 Ps or the 7 Ps. I'll mention what those are in a sec. But the idea is basically to get customers to want to buy your product through a variety of methods. Now, what are the 4 Ps? What are the 7 Ps? Well, they're part of the same thing. The 4 Ps are for simply goods and products. The 7 Ps are the 4 Ps plus 3 more, and that's for services. All right, services have a few elements extra. So the 4 Ps for goods and products are the product, the place, the price, and the promotion. These are all important things to know, right? Product, place, price, promotion. There's actually an individual chapter specifically dedicated to talking about these. So I'll be making a video discussing specifically each one by one. What is it and what does it consist of, so that you guys can get a better idea of what they are. The 7 Ps are just these 4 Ps. So product, place, price, and promotion. But you're also adding in people. So that's how is your frontline staff going to look like when people come in? What is the treatment that they're going to receive from the people who are in your place offering the service to them? What are the processes like? So how long does it take to get the service? What's the ease of getting the service? Is it accessible? Is the payment process easy? Things like that. And finally, physical evidence. These are things like the facilities. When someone comes in to get your service, is it a clean facility? Is it dirty? What's the design? What does the atmosphere feel like? So these are all factors that go into making your marketing plan on top of the 4 Ps, which are for products and services. So again, the product, place, price, and promotion. These are all kind of factors you're taking in, you're researching so that you can make the perfect marketing plan for your product. So understanding those things. Marketing comes in a variety of states, all right? So the first thing is we have to know, is our marketing going to be product oriented or is it going to be market oriented? What does this mean? Well, when a company and its marketing is product oriented, this means they just make the products they're good at making. All right. This would be like Rolex, for example, right? They're just making, they know we make good, high quality watches. So that's what they do. They make a high quality watch that sets them apart from other watch companies. It's a luxury product. They say, all right, this is our thing. We're focused on making a quality product and you guys have to come here. So their concern is not trying to appeal to the market, not trying to, do what the people want necessarily or try to fit in. They're just trying to make a quality product that will draw people to them by standing out. Market oriented, on the other hand, that means that you're making products for the market. So you know what the people want and you're trying to make a product to fill those demands. This does mean that your research is expensive, but then you're trying to go for mass market. Say you find out that you're a cereal company and you find out that this new type of cereal, this new flavor has become popular. Well, then you try to start making that type of cereal and market it so that you can get customers. This is a very flexible type of marketing plan because you're just going with what the demands are. And the idea is you're not committing yourself too much to anything because you're waiting and seeing what are the desires, what are the needs of customers, and responding to those instead of like a product-oriented firm would do. They're just saying we have this vision and they're imposing that all the way through. Marketing base is saying we're more flexible. We're willing to move depending on what's right to make sure that we can get a good share of the market. Finally, it's also less risky because you're guaranteed that if you're doing this correctly, if you're correctly having a marketing-oriented firm and you're correctly appealing to the market, well, then you're guaranteed to have customers because you're appealing to what a market demand is. So those are those 2 things. The other distinction that you have to make is the difference between social and commercial marketing, all right? Social marketing, the goal here is you're trying to get a societal change. This can really be thought of as like what social media influencers do, sorry. You're trying to influence people to act in a certain way. And usually it's a social change you're looking for. So it's not as much trying to sell a product. It's more just trying to, these are what like also nonprofits could do, or different, social awareness organizations, things like that. Commercial marketing is you're trying to sell a product or a service, and you're not trying to tell people, hey, act in this different way. You're trying to instead figure out what are the ideals, what are the goals of the people, and you're trying to appeal to those goals so that they'll want to get your product, saying that, all right, we have this thing that will respond to the things that you need, that will respond to your demands. It's my product or my service. And then you try to advertise relative to that. So then we have the issue of market share. All right. So market share, this is related to marketing. A market share is the portion of a market that a company holds. A market just means a place to exchange goods and services. So let's take an example of, the market could be, let's say the phone market. All right. So your market share is what percentage does Apple hold? What percentage does Samsung hold? What percentage is, a different type of a BlackBerry? All right. I know like no one has BlackBerries anymore, but you understand. So that's what a market share is, what percentage does each company hold? So maybe in the phone case, it's going to be, 70% iPhone, 29% Samsung, and then, 1% is going to be BlackBerries and other types of phones. So that's kind of the portion of a market that your company has. Now, to increase this share, there are a variety of things that you can do, but it does, again, come based on marketing. Do you have good marketing? Things like your brand promotion, all right, having good brand promotion, improving your customer service, copyright and patent filing, because what this does is it makes it so that when you copyright or patent something, it's something your company, your business is the only one who has the right to it, to either, the rights to, if it's copyright, it's a certain idea, it's a certain name, it's a certain character. If it's a patent, well, then that's the production of a certain product. And either way, that's creating an exclusive part of the market for you because you're the only ones who can produce this product, at least for a certain amount of time. Finally, product development, because that means you can set yourself apart. You can continue creating new ways of income and new things that people can come to your business for. So all those things can help you increase your market share. And then we have marketing objectives. This is basically if you're doing your marketing correctly, you should be achieving these objectives. Things like increasing your market share. If you're doing good marketing, you want to increase your market share. You're going to have good customer service. You're going to have a positive corporate image. You're going to be able to apply growth strategies because your company is going to be growing. You're going to be innovating. You're going to be well positioned in the market. And yeah, so those are kind of, if you're marketing correctly, those are what your objectives are. Your objectives are to achieve those various things I just listed off. And then you have, like when you're developing market objective, all right, you have to make it based off of a set of certain goals. What the business management book kind of focuses on is that, well-made, well-designed marketing objectives align with three main things that a company wants to do. All right. The first is you want it to be aligned with your mission and vision statements. These, we talked about this way back in, I think, chapter 1 or chapter 1.2, that these are the statements you make right when you're making your business that state what is it that you want to do? What are your ideas and how are you going to get to those things? Then it has to be appropriate for business's capacity. So this means you're making things that aren't way beyond the production scale of your business. You're marketing to a public that you'll then be able to produce for. What you don't want to do is market to a public and then you can't produce enough of the products for them or at the right quality. Finally, something that is mindful of competition and steeple factors. Steeple being external factors. I have a whole chapter about this, or a video where I discuss this quite extensively. But steeple, are the social, technological, environmental, ethical, political, legal, and economical. I think I said the E's out of order. But anyway, those are all the different factors that are external, things you can't control, and you have to take those into account when picking your marketing. The final thing you have to consider with marketing to wrap up this introductory chapter is the ethics. All right. So when it comes to ethics, we're going to start with the 4 P's. With each of the 4 P's, there's certain ethical considerations you have to take into account. Examples would be pricing, right? You have to have ethical pricing strategies. For example, it would be unethical the way that printers are priced, which is you offer a very cheap printer, but then when someone buys it, the ink cartridges are very expensive. If anyone's ever bought a printer, the printers might cost $50 and the ink cartridges cost $45. And the problem is you have to keep refilling the ink cartridges. And maybe printers aren't 50, but they're 100, they're 200. They're not very expensive for what is, for what a printer can do for you. But the ink cartridges are very expensive. and they only cost a few cents to make, but they can cost, $25, $35, $50. I mean, I haven't had to buy one, so I don't know the exact numbers, but basically, and the problem with that is that you're creating this false expectation with the consumer of, oh, this is such a nice, cheap product. And then, well, they're really spending, at the end of the day, hundreds of dollars on ink cartridges. They actually say it's cheaper for you to just buy a new printer than to buy more ink cartridges when they run out. The other one is what I like to call the Ryanair ticket pricing strategy, which is I actually recently went on a vacation with Ryanair. And you know what happens? You go on their website and they say, flights to Lisbon from starting at $30. And you think, okay, great, $30, nice cheap flight. I get to go from, wherever to Lisbon for $30. And you get the ticket. And if you want quite literally anything else on that flight, you will have to pay more. If you want to pick your seat, if you want to bring anything more than a backpack that's the size of your hand, if you like whatever you want to do, if you want to get on, there's just so many different things. They add little microtransactions in there. So really at the end of the day, you're paying $70 instead of $30, which is still a cheap flight, but compared to what they're advertising for you, it is an unethical pricing practice. This is considered to, put a nice cheap price on there, but then you start, raising the price as you go down the line and adding on different micro fees and whatever that they're technically optional, but they're really not optional. Then we have promotion. The examples given of, so promotion is obviously just, the advertisements and that kind of thing. The example would be sexual imagery. If you're in a place where that's not considered to be very moral. Also advertising to kids who they might think they're watching a show and they're really watching an ad for something. That's an unethical way to do it because you're basically tricking them into liking the product, not realizing that they are being advertised to. Also the place, advertising that offends cultural beliefs of a certain location or country, because place, we're referring to not like a physical location, but more the culture and the ideas. Again, there'll be a whole video explaining this, so don't worry. Finally, the product. A product that's so cheaply produced that is dangerous is unethical. Also, another example is, for instance, selling sexually provocative clothing made for children. That's something that on its own is an unethical product. So that obviously the product is a part of the marketing at the end of the day, because the quality of the product, the style of the product is your marketing. So having something like that is considered an unethical marketing practice because it's an unethical product. And then finally, we have various ethical issues that you can run into with different marketing practices. We've discussed in the context of the 4 Ps. Apart from that, other unethical marketing practices are bait and switch. This is where you advertise something for very cheap, and then when people come to your stores, it's not there. And instead you have a large amount of other much more expensive products, and then your staff will pressure them very hard to buy those more expensive products. So you're baiting them, you're reeling them in with this cheap product, and then you do the switch and it's, well, we really have these really expensive products, but you must buy them. Or you create that kind of environment. Also misrepresentation, pretty straightforward, overpromise or fraud, unsubstantiated claims, using fear tactics, trying to fear monger people into buying your products. Whatever. Let's say you sell machetes, saying, well, the apocalypse is about to come, so you need a machete to protect yourself. For instance, pester power. This relies on the idea that kids are very persistent with their parents that they want something. So you aim your marketing at kids. So then, because they also don't control money, they don't control their own money, they don't have to spend their own money. So you aim marketing at them very heavily. They say the average American child sees 1,500 ads per day. When they're online, you aim your marketing very hard at them, especially we're talking the 4 to 6 year old demographic. So that way they go and pester their parents saying, hey, can you buy me this thing? Can you buy me this thing? Can you buy me this thing? And this way you kind of get in the easy way, because kids are much easier to convince and entice to get a product than their parents would be. Finally, any kind of social, cultural, going against the grain, socially and culturally offending beliefs, trying to use a shock factor, or just not respecting social and cultural norms are all kind of ethical issues you can get into with marketing. And with that, that is the end of the video, guys. That is all for this introductory chapter of marketing. I hope everything has been understandable and okay for y'all. If you have any questions, please do leave a comment below. I am more than happy to answer them. And with that, thank you for watching, and best of luck in the rest of your studies. See you later.